Hi, my name's Danielle and I'm an independent Gazza's consultant in Tassie, and I'd like to share with you a few things about our Belisha Easy Press. This is our Easy Press. It's an A4 size die cutting machine. It comes with our pads that I use for our cutting and embossing. I've done a video, a basic overview video, so you can check that out and see what the different pads are used for. So basically our machine can lock into place, and we have plates that slide out front and back, and carry handle and a handle on the end, which is nice and easy to use. And along the front here are our basic instructions of our pad combinations, so an easy quick reference. And there are lots and lots of things you can do with it, so come and join me for a project. Okay, this is a little tag I'm going to demonstrate for you today. This is using our embossing folders or our embossing plates with vellum. So there's a tag of colour underneath, and this, you can see that the pattern is actually on the vellum. So it's a really nice way to add a really subtle effect to our projects. So to do this, we need our Easy Press and our base pad A, our rubber embossing mat. I'm going to grab our piece of vellum. I've already cut it out into the size that I want in the tag. I'm going to position my embossing plate over the top how I want it, and then use our embossing pad B. Now if you find that you don't get a deep enough impression on the vellum, you can always add a shim of just a A4 copy paper underneath. And it's always good to go nice and slow when you're doing embossing. That way you make sure you get a really nice impression on it. If you go through really fast, you might find that it doesn't tend to emboss as well. So let's have a look at that. Right, that's embossed beautifully. That's just what I want. So it will depend on the thickness of your vellum as well as to how deep it will emboss. So I'm really happy with that. So now we can go ahead and make the rest of our project. Okay, so we've embossed our vellum, and now I'm going to get our tag, just our white tag, and I'm going to get some Distress ink. This is our Chipped Sapphire, which is a really nice deep blue, and I'm just going to blend around the edges. Now remember, when you're doing any blending, that you just tap on your ink pad and always start off the page and work on. And with your darker colours especially, it's really important to start off light, and you can always go back and add more colour. Because if you put too much on there and you get blotches, then you can't take it off. And if your ink pad's new, you will find that you'll get a lot of ink to start off with. So you need to just take it easy and just get a little bit at a time. Okay, so there's our little tag. I'm just going to sit that to the side. Now what I'm going to do, using our butterfly punch, I've just taken the cover off so that it's easy to see. I'm going to punch out a butterfly out of vellum. And I'm also going to edge just the edges of that with the Chipped Sapphire. Not too much, just a little bit, just to define the wings. You don't want too much on there, otherwise it gets a bit muddy. Okay, so just a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to also punch one out of SB Essentials Crimson. Okay. Now I'm going to stick those together with some glossy accents. I always keep a pin on my glossy accents in case my nozzle gets a little bit blocked. We'll see how we go. Well, we're working well today. A little bit of glossy accents, and then my butterfly on top. Now you'll notice I'm not actually centering the butterfly. I'm just putting a little bit offset, just so that it can just give that, you can see the red underneath it quite well. And I'm just going to grab one of the clear rhinestones, and I'm just going to stick that on as well. So just to cover up that glue spot in the middle. You could use a button as well, that would also look quite nice. Okay, so there's that one. I just leave that aside to let the glossy accents dry, because you will find it will take a little bit longer on the vellum to dry. So while we're doing that, I'm just going to stamp our love. So this is from one of our new stamp sets. It's we've got to use the new sets of words, and I'm going to use the ink, our fluid chalk lipstick red. And it's really important whenever inking a stamp that you just tap. don't smush it around too much, and don't push it in, otherwise you're going to get ink on the back of the stamp where you don't want it, and then you're more likely to get burn marks or touchdowns, which are little marks where there isn't meant to be any. Okay, now I'm just going to stamp this onto my vellum where I want it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is put a little eyelet in using our punch and set. So a punch and set is a handle which is all comes apart, so you just screw them together, and then we have some little cutting ends. So there's two of those, there's a small one and a large one. We're going to use the small one today for our eyelets. And there's also two eyelet setting pieces, so again a small and a large. So the large one's for doing your large eyelets, but as they're a smaller eyelet, so I'm going to use the small ones. You'll also need a mat so that you don't cut through your table. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay our two pieces on top. How I want them a little bit offset, so I'm just going to have them a little bit offset. And I'm just going to put the hole where I want it. So I find just going around in a little sort of wobbly motion works. You can twist, it's sort of whatever groove works for you really. And then we've cut a little hole. Then I'm just going to grab our eyelet. So this is just one of our, I don't know if you can see it, a little red eyelet. And I'm going to put it through so that the right side sits through like so. Flip it over so the right side is down on our mat. I'm going to change the end of my eyelet, my punch and set, to the eyelet setter. And then again, you're twisting, you're rocking, just to make that, flatten that little eyelet. And then, so then it's nice and flat. So there's no banging and crashing involved, which is nice. There's a little eyelet set. Now you can move it a little bit as well. It just depends on how tightly you've set your eyelet. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, my butterfly should be nicely dry there. I'm just going to bend his wings up a little bit, like so. I'm going to put a little bit of glossy accents on the back. I'm going to stick him onto my tag. Now you could use any number of colour combinations with this. It's just a nice, simple little tag. And then what I've also used is some white organdy ribbon and just tied it through to finish it off. So nice and simple, and using the embossing with your vellum just adds another dimension, and you can just do a really subtle soft overlay. It works lovely on invitations and things for weddings especially. That vellum is quite often used for weddings, and then to add that little bit of something else. Thanks for watching my video today. I really appreciate your time. If you have any questions for me, you can post them at the bottom of the video, or you can contact me at my blog www.danielskazaz.blogspot.com. If you have any questions for Kazaz, or you'd like to be put in touch with a local consultant, you can contact them on 1800 649 191, or you can contact them via the website www.kazaz.com, and you can be put in touch with a local consultant and see all the great products on the website as well. Thank you very much for your time.